In this video, I've put some practice questions on electronics information for you to prepare for the ASVAB test. The rate of electrons through a conductor is measured in units of amperes, volts, current, electricity. So the answer here is amperes. Amperes is the term for the measured rate of electrons through a conductor. Which of these is an acceptable symbol used for amperes? So the letter A here is an acceptable symbol used to represent amperes. Current is measured using an ammeter, a current to meter wires, a spectrometer. The answer here is an ammeter. So an ammeter is a measuring instrument used to measure current. The two types of electric current are blank. The answer here is direct and alternating. The flow of electricity in alternating current reverses direction eventually, while direct current always flows in the same direction. "32 cycles per second is equivalent to." Cycles per second was at one time a common unit to measure frequency, but was eventually replaced by hertz. So 32 cycles per second is just equivalent to 32 hertz. So this is the answer here, 32 hertz. Electrical resistance is best defined as, electrical resistance is the opposition of passage of a current through a conductor, while conductance is its reciprocal. So among the choices here, the answer is this one, opposition to the flow of current. To measure voltage, one would use a volt gauge, a voltmeter, an electric difference machine, or a volta. The answer here is a voltmeter. A voltmeter is an instrument used to measure the voltage across 2 points in an electric circuit. Voltage is also known as electronic strength, electrical potential, shock factor, or current charge. The answer here is electrical potential. So in the early history of the study of electricity, voltage was known as electrical potential or the electrical potential energy. Electrical pressure is also known as charge, voltage, conductivity, or ohms. The answer here is voltage. So the voltage expressed in volts is a measurement of electrical pressure. An ampere is defined as one blank flowing past a point in 1 second. Ohm, coulomb, hertz, or volt. The answer here is coulomb. A coulomb is the unit of electrical charge defined as the charge transported by a current of 1 ampere in 1 second. A galvanometer is usually used to measure volts, current, conductance, resistance. So a galvanometer is a type of ammeter which is usually used to measure electric current. So the answer here is current. Electromotive force is another word for volts, current, amps, or ohms. The answer here is volts. So volts is another word for electromotive force. We often seen in Ohm's law, E equals IR, where E here represents volts, which is due to its earlier name of electromotive force. Ohm's law is defined as blank. Now Ohm's law states that voltage is equal to current in amps multiplied by the resistance in ohms. So the answer is this one. Volts equals current times resistance. Electrical power is expressed in current, ohms, volts, watts. The answer here is watts. So electrical power is measured in watts, which are a measurement of energy conversion of 1 joule per second. A series circuit would best be described as blank. So electrical circuits that have only one path for the flow of electricity are known as series circuits. So the answer here is this one, the second one. An electrical circuit with only a single path for the electrical current. Given a series circuit, a break at any point in the circuit would cause blank: the current to double in power, the current to go in reverse, the current to stop flowing, the current to jump the brake and continue flowing. The electricity in a series circuit only flows in a single direction, and therefore a break in that circuit causes the entire circuit to cease functioning. So the answer here is this one: the current to stop flowing. In residential wiring, the internal grounds will be connected to an external ground, also known as earth ground, safe ground, extra ground, or dirt ground. The answer is earth ground. So it is also known as earth ground. The earth acts as the largest ground reference point and is used to dispense electrical charge to prevent shock. In an electrical circuit, if one wanted to reduce the current and or divide voltage, one would use a rectifier, reflector, reducer, resistor. The answer here is resistor. So one would use a resistor. So the addition of resistor influences the voltage and the current according to Ohm's law, which has the formula voltage equals current times resistance. And in a series circuit in which resistors are added tail to head along a circuit, the current across each resistor is the same, and the total resistance is the sum of the individual resistances, such as R total would be resistor 1 plus resistor 2, and so on. While in a parallel circuit in which resistors are aligned in parallel and the current has multiple pathways available, the current through each resistor is only the same if the resistance of the resistors in parallel is the same. Therefore, the total resistance in a parallel circuit is the reciprocal of the sum of the individual reciprocal resistances. We can write it like this. For parallel, it will be 1 over resistor 1 plus 1 over resistor 2, and so on to the negative 1. Or you can just write it as 1 over R sub 1. A capacitor is also known as an alternator, a resistor, a condenser, or a dielectric. The answer here is a condenser. The condenser is another name for a capacitor. A capacitor is used to perform which of these in an electrical circuit? Increase voltage, store an electrical charge, reduce current, or prevent shock. So the answer here is store an electrical charge. So a capacitor in the most basic form is two electrical conductors separated by an insulator. When a charge passes through the conductors, the positive charge is stored in one conductor and the negative in another. This causes the charge to be temporarily stored electrostatically. The farad is the unit of measurement of capacitance, resonance, ohms, or voltage. The answer here is capacitance. Capacitance is the ability for something to store an electrical charge, and it is measured in farads.